Hey there, flippers, and welcome back to Second Life Treasures. So, on today's video, we are going to be doing another weekly update, as well as going through a couple of topics that I want to discuss. Yeah, they could be considered controversial. Equally, they could sort of stoke up some interesting conversation, which is what I'm hoping for. So, before we dive into those, let's quickly have a look at how we done last week. So obviously we didn't have a video last week. I just did not have the time to get one out. It was a really mad weekend last weekend. And actually it's turned out to be a really mad weekend this weekend as well. So last week we had a total of 29 sales. For a total revenue of £777 and 17p, all the sevens. And that netted us a total profit of £398 and 22p, for a total ROI of for an average ROI of 667%. So yeah, really, really good. It just went absolutely mad on Saturday. My phone just kept ka-chinging throughout the day, which, it was absolutely amazing. I think we ended up with our best ever sale day. I think it was something like £412 in sales, for about for £292 in profit, which was absolutely amazing. Really, really chuffed, because it had been a bit of a slow week up until then. With just sort of dribs and drabs, and sort of low profit items selling. So let's dive into the first of the sales. So let me just switch over to the other screen. So we've got our first sale here, which is a pair of women's Reebok Classic Freestyle high tops. I believe we got these a couple of months ago from the Sunday Boot Fair. These sold on the 13th of the 9th, and the initial purchase price of these was £4. Total sale price was £23 and 99p, for a total profit of £12 and 30p, and an ROI of 308%. So not too bad. As I say, I think they've been listed for a couple of months now. I want to say sort of about 2, maybe 3 months they've been listed for. I wouldn't say it's any longer than that. And I knew that they were going to be sort of a low-end sale, but we've still gone over our minimum sort of profit threshold for that, which is good. And then our number 9 sale was actually one that I grabbed off Nikki last weekend. It was. So this was the Amazon Fire Stick 2nd generation. It was complete in box. It was used, but this sold on the 12th of the 9th. We initially picked this up for £5. It sold for a total sale of £29 and 99p, for a total profit of £15 and 17p, which was really good. As I've said sort of time and time again, the Amazon products, they always sell really well for me. So anytime I see them, I'll always do my best to pick them up. Okay, so now diving into the first. So the first one's actually going to be a question or a comment that was left on one of the videos. So this was actually left on the last weekly update video, which was 2 weeks ago. And this is from Aaron Sage, and basically what I think the comment is basically getting at is that the view is what boot fair sellers should be doing but don't do. So his comment is, eBay listed versus eBay sold is very different. Car boot buyers are resellers or people wanting a bargain. eBay market is global, car boots is local. eBay has protection for buyers and sellers, car boots don't. You can return faulty/unwanted goods from eBay. You can't at the car boot sale. I have no problems with sellers knowing what their items are worth, but you also need to know your market. And I will completely agree with that. It's all just, as I said in that video, it is all about sort of some people, they go to the booth. I will say, in defence of the boot fair sellers, the thing is the only place that they've really got to research their items is eBay. And unfortunately, if you've never sold on eBay, you don't know what's involved with it. You'll know that you can return things and things like that, but you won't know about like the fee structure. You won't really think about shipping costs, because obviously in this day and age with the likes of free shipping from Amazon, sort of shipping doesn't cost anything. It just happens. But yeah, obviously a lot of people, unless you're actually an eBay seller and unless you've sold things on eBay, you're probably not going to know about everything that's involved. You probably won't even know about all of your protections. So yeah, I can see it from both sides. Obviously, yes, it is frustrating when you go to the boot fair and people are sort of literally asking eBay prices. Well, obviously, as you've seen from the title of this video, this is a subject that we're going to be going back to. I think that is, we've got something else to talk about in the next segment, but we'll come back to it after that. Okay, so next up, we are going to dive into our number 8 sale for today, for the week. And that is going to be the 1993 Captain Scarlet Colonel White action figure. So this was brand new and sealed, and this actually come in a big bundle of Thunderbird, Captain Scarlet. There's a couple of Stingray bits in there as well that I picked up from the Sunday Boot Fair. I think I paid £25 for this whole box, and yeah, I've just been finding that things are sort of slowly trickling out from this bundle. I've probably at this point quadrupled my money that I put into it. So yeah, now I'm sort of more than happy just to let them sort of trickle out. And yeah, as they sell, which is they're actually selling quite well. Obviously, we're now getting into sort of Q4, and I think things like this I will start seeing sort of go out the door a bit more frequently. So with the Captain Scarlet figure, that sold on the 14th of the 9th. It works out our initial purchase price on that was 75p. It sold for £26.24 and made us a total profit of £16.49 for a total ROI of 2,199%, which is really good. And then moving on to our number 7 sale, and this is the Now TV Smart Stick. So this was actually a boot fair pickup. I think this was a Sunday boot fair. This will be in a future pickups video. But yeah, I pretty much listed it. I think it sold within a day, if it was even a day. So yeah, once again, the sort of smart stick. So we've actually got 2 smart sticks on the video this week, which is really good. So this one actually sold the day after the Amazon stick. It sold on the 13th of the 9th. Our initial purchase price was £3. Total sale price was £31.99 for a total profit of £18.84, which led to an ROI of 628%. So yeah, really, really chuffed with that. Another 2 absolutely brilliant sales. So, moving on to my first sort of topic that I wanted to sort of discuss today. And this is going to be a eBay-based topic. And this is going to be about eBay's authentication system. So, for those of you that don't know, if you sell, and I'm more talking about trainers for this. So, a couple of months ago, eBay introduced a scheme where if your trainers fall into a certain bracket, then they have, when you sell them, you can't charge shipping because eBay give you a free shipping label. And what happens is your shoes then get sent off to an authenticator. The authenticator verifies that the trainers are real, and they then send them off to the buyer. And then in reverse, if the buyer then decides to return them, they actually post them to the authenticator first. They then authenticate that they are the same shoes that they were originally sent. And once they have been, they then get sent back to you. Now, there's a couple of different thresholds with regards to your shoes being put into this. It's an automatic thing. So as long as your shoes fall into sort of one of these thresholds, it will automatically go in. So any pairs of shoes that are listed for over £100, or any pairs of shoes that are in an auction and the auction finishes over £100, they will automatically go into the authentication system. And yeah, they'll need to be sent off to the authenticator. But there is also a range of makes and models that will automatically go into the system, regardless of how much you list them for. I know one, for example, are Yeezys. They will always automatically go into the authentication system, just purely because of how much they are counterfeited. And yeah, so far, since the system's gone live, I've had 2 pairs of shoes go off to this authenticator. I will say the first pair of shoes, I was probably on the fence as to whether they were real. I will say, I was looking at them, when I picked them up, I was looking at them and I was like, if they are fakes, they are really, really, really good fakes, because they had all the correct labels, they looked legit. But yeah, once they sold, they went off to the authenticator and yeah, that got rejected. And that was a pair of Yeezys. So yeah, that is, as I say, I was on the fence with them. I wasn't 100%. So I was quite happy to sort of deal with that. Wasn't overly keen with having to do the refund, but that's just part of it. But last week, I actually had another pair of shoes sell through the system. And this was actually a pair of Jordans. Now, I have gone through those shoes. I knew 100% that they were legit. I even had a friend who knows everything there is to know about trainers. And he's looked at them and he's like, no, 100% they are perfect. So, yeah, I listed them. They were listed for quite a while, a good sort of 4-5 months maybe. And yeah, I got an offer through, and the offer was for, I think they were listed for like 110, and I got an offer for 90, and I accepted the offer. But because they were originally listed at 110, even though the offer was below the £100 mark, they will still stay in the authentication program. So I was like, no problem, packaged them up, put eBay's labels on, sent them off. Following day, I get an email to say, your shoes haven't passed authentication. And I'm like, why? There is absolutely nothing wrong with those shoes. They are 100% legit. So I phoned eBay. I wanted to find out what was going on with these shoes, why they were rejected. And after speaking with just one of the general salespeople, they then put me through to the department. And I will admit, the guy that I spoke to at eBay was probably one of the worst customer service reps that I've ever spoke to in my life. He was so rude. He didn't want to be on the call. Just the tone of voice and the answers that he was giving was more like, please just go away. I don't want to talk to you. So yeah, that was frustrating. But obviously I was asking him, why have they failed? There is nothing wrong with those shoes. They've been verified as legit. And the answer I got was, well, we can't tell you that. I'm like, well, why can't you tell me that? I'm the seller. Well, if we tell you, it's just going to allow you to make more convincing fakes. And I'm like, excuse me? And yeah, I literally could not believe that the guy actually turned around and said that. So instead of wanting to teach sellers what to look out for, eBay just do not want to. They're not going to communicate with you on it at all. So yeah, if you send your shoes off to the eBay's authentication system and they fail, you're not going to get any information. It's just going to be a case of they failed. That's it. Tough. Give the buyer the money back. They won't tell you why. They won't give you any information. And yeah, basically this guy was saying, well, we can't tell you because the brands don't want us communicating that information. I'm like, well, surely the brands are going to want us to know what to look out for. I know they don't want us reselling their stuff, so they're going to do whatever they can to allow us to make it so that we don't have to do it. But yeah, to say that I was livid was an understatement. So what I've actually done now is I've actually gone through and I've taken all of my shoes out of the authentication program. I am more than happy to have them authenticated by an independent third party, but I am refusing to send any shoes through eBay's system now. I don't believe that they are, whoever's doing the authentication, I don't believe that they're competent. And it might just be that it's just that one person was just not up to the job. No, the rest of the team might be fine. I don't know. But I am not going to take the risk anymore because it's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to the buyer. And eBay don't want to help at all. So I'm like, there is no benefit to this system. So yeah, I've literally gone through and in some cases I've reduced trainers by like 40, 50 pounds just to take them out of this system. And yeah, it was more, so just to give you an idea of sort of what happened with me. But as well, I want to try and find out if any of you have used this system and what your experiences were like. I'm looking for sort of good, bad, and indifferent. This isn't, as I say, this isn't an attack on eBay. This isn't an attack on the system. This is just my opinion from my experiences. And yeah, I am basically at the point now where I'm just not going to be listing stuff. And as I say, I think those shoes, I've actually listed them elsewhere. I listed them when I listed them on eBay. I also listed them on another site, and I had to go through an authentication process with them. Obviously, that was just using. They just wanted photos of literally every angle of the shoe, and that went through their authentication system without a problem. So yeah, I've got two different sites, two different authentication systems, and two different results. So yeah, my view of it is I've had essentially, out of 4 people that have looked at these shoes, only one person has deemed them to be fake, and that is unfortunately the person that's working for eBay. So yeah, it is a bit of a shame because I initially thought that the system was a really good idea, but from experience of using the system, I don't think it's fit for purpose. Now, yeah, if I know eBay will never ever see this video. They're not going to be interested with a sort of little YouTuber that wants to have a little rant and rave. So yeah, I don't expect any changes to happen because of this. But yeah, just sort of something for everyone to be aware of. If you're getting to the point where you're looking to go into trainers, just maybe do a bit more research into the authentication program. Make sure it's something you're happy with. And yeah, I would say if you are selling trainers through the authentication system, just make sure that any funds that you get. So what I tend to do with my funds is I get them paid out daily. So they basically hit my bank account pretty quick. So what I would say is just make sure that if you've sent off a pair of trainers, hold on to those funds at least until it goes through the authentication system. And then obviously if you have then got to do the return, it's easy to just do, to basically just go onto your seller hub and pay the negative balance to sort of get your account back into order. But yeah, my personal opinion is I don't think the service is fit for purpose. But let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of the service? As I say, is it something you've used? Is it something you've used as a seller? Is it something you've used as a buyer? Yeah, let me know down below because I'd be really interested to see what other people's experiences are. Because I've not really, no one around me has actually used the service. I've been speaking to Nicky about it, and I don't think any of his shoes have actually gone through it yet. So yeah, that is that. So let's move on to the next sale, and that is going to be our number 6. So this is a DJI Osmo quad battery charger. So this is a battery charger for a DJI quadcopter. And actually, this was something I actually sourced from eBay, surprisingly enough. So a couple of months ago, we actually bought a DJI gimbal camera from the boot fair. And it come with the battery, but it didn't come with the charger. So when I was looking about for chargers for it, and these quad battery chargers kept coming up. And the ones that I was seeing, a lot of them listed were listed for like 50, 60 pounds. And then all of a sudden I come across one. I can't remember if it was a buy it now or if it was an auction. I honestly can't remember. I can't remember if it was what it was. But it was really, really cheap. So I decided to give it a go because I was like, well, if I can get it cheap, then I can just sort of flip it on eBay. So yeah, a bit of eBay sourcing. So I ended up getting it for £11 and 8p. So I was like, yeah, no problems there at all. So listed it. It's been listed for a good couple of months now. But yeah, it actually sold on the 15th of September. It sold for £43 and 99p. I think this ended up, it was an offer that was sent through. And yeah, because I had sort of so much wiggle room on it, I was quite happy to accept £40 on it. That netted us a total profit of £20 and 77p for a total ROI of 187%. So yeah, I would say if you're ever looking for things on eBay, always keep your eye out on sort of different bits. You might find that one item that is sort of selling for a higher cost than someone's listed it for. And yeah, that's basically what happened here. I sort of found this, ended up buying it, and yeah, ended up sort of turning it around for a £20 profit, which was really good. Right, next up, we have got our number 5 pick, and this is a I can never pronounce this one, Salinger cricket bat. So this is the V12 Club, and this actually come from a new sourcing location. So I don't know if I've mentioned it on the channel yet or not, but I've actually started going to my local auction. And I have to say, I've been to 2 auctions so far, and I have had so much fun going to them. So I have got a couple of videos on it coming up on the channel. I'll be honest, I haven't properly gone through everything that we've picked up, but I'm hoping to sort of get all that done and get it all into the spreadsheet this week. But yeah, I have sold a couple of bits, and actually the 2 bits that I've sold so far actually come from the same lot as each other. So there was this one, and I think the lot that I ended up winning, I haven't got the invoice to hand at the moment, but yeah, I'm probably into it for about £3 or £4. And then the other thing that I won was, or the other thing that I've already sold was I actually sold it at a boot fair that I was selling at recently, and it was two pictures, and they were basically like needlework collages of like the star signs, I think it was. Not anything I had any interest in even attempting to sell. So I mean, I sold them both for £4 at the boot fair just to sort of get rid of them. But yeah, this one, originally I was actually going to take this to the boot fair with me, but the night before I actually looked it up and saw what it was going for, so I thought it would yeah, be a good option to try and sell it on eBay first. I will say this actually was something that I posted out today, and it was an absolute nightmare packaging it up. It's probably one of the worst packaging jobs I've ever done. So yeah, if the buyer of this ever watches this video, I am truly sorry for the absolutely appalling packaging job that I did on this. I just didn't. I had a couple of long boxes that I thought it would fit in, and then as soon as I got them out, it was too long to fit in it. So I literally had to wrap it in bubble wrap and then sort of carve up another box to actually wrap it in cardboard. And yeah, it was just awful. So yeah, really sorry to the buyer for that one. So yeah, it worked out. I haven't actually got a purchase price on this yet because I've not put any of these into the spreadsheet yet. But it sold for £29 and 99p. Total profit on it was £21 and 47p. That will probably drop to about £17 once we put in the roughly £4 that we paid for it. And yeah, so at the moment I've got it down as 100% ROI, but yeah, as I say, that will change once we update it. And yeah, so that is our number 5 sale. As I say, I am carrying on with the auctions. It's something I'm going to carry on as we sort of go into the winter as well. So yes, right, now moving on to this is actually going to follow on from a comment that I received on a video a couple of weeks ago. And this was actually going to be one of the main talking points in last week's video, but obviously where I didn't get to film it, I wanted to make sure that it was in this video. And this actually said earlier on, it follows on from our first question. So let me just pull it up so I've got it on screen. So this was a comment that was left on our looking for different pickups at the boot fair. This is when we picked up the steering wheel for the Mini Cooper. And yeah, the comment was from user BT9PO4KZ1B. Yeah, a bit crass checking prices in front of potential sellers. Now, when I saw this comment, I immediately wanted to put it into a video because this is a comment that I've seen on both of my channels now. And yeah, it is. Up until this year, I always avoided looking up prices in front of sellers. But obviously this year I have changed my approach. And I will say it is working for me 90% of the time. So it's a difficult one. This is a very, very, very contentious issue amongst resellers. You've got some resellers that are 100% behind this. They do not do it in front of sellers. They think it's one of the worst things that you can do. Then you've got other resellers, which, as I say, I have started to fall into this sort of way of thinking, is that I want to know, one, what I'm going to make on this item before I buy it. Two, I want to know what this is actually selling for and compare it to what the buyer's asking. So, as we said sort of on the first question for today, obviously buyers will use eBay to see what their item's worth. They won't necessarily think, they'll see that, oh look, it's sold for £20 on eBay. Great, I'm going to ask for £20 at the boot fair. Not thinking about all the other things that are involved with sort of selling on eBay. So you've got your fees, you've got your shipping, you've got your the potential for returns and all of that. And that's the thing now. So we've had it so many times recently. I've actually been trying to put it in the videos a bit more as well. I'm trying not to just put in all of the pickups now. I'm trying to put in a couple of others. And I will admit, in general, if I go up to a stall and a seller's asking stupid money, what have I got that I can? Here we go. So I go up and I want to buy this DualShock 4 controller, and the seller's like, "Yeah, brilliant. I want £25 for that," and I'm like, "No, it sells for £25. I can't exactly remember what it sells for." So there's no profit in it for me. I'll end up making a loss, and I'm at the boot fair to make money. It's not. This is going to be a really. You think checking up prices is going to be crass? This is going to be a really crass comment. I am not a charity. So yeah, when I go to the boot fairs, I'm going there to make money. And sort of more so this year. I mean, I said at the beginning of the year that one of the big things for this year was that I was going to be looking up more things, purely because I've had it like for the last 2 years. Whenever I've gone out to the boot fair, I've looked at things and I'm like, oh yeah, that should sell for good money. I should be all right. Yeah, what are you after that? £5? Yeah, no problems. I'll have that. Brilliant. Take my money. And then I get home and I find out it sells for £10. So after I've shipped it, got my fees, and then I'm left with about a 50p profit. So I'm like, I'm just not. That's not paying for my time. So yeah, the reason that it is the reason that I and a lot of other people will research items at the stall is because if you walk away from that, someone else can quite easily come in, pick it up, and then start doing their research in front of the seller. So just because you decided not to do it, you could potentially miss out on that. And that could be an item that, you know what I mean, you could be picking up. This could be a gold-plated controller. Literally, it was used by the Queen. And yeah, it will sell for £10,000 on eBay. And you were going to get it for £20. But if I then sort of put that down, walk off, do my research, and then walk back, and then by the time I get back, it's gone. And I actually had this recently. So I was at, I think it's a future video, I can't remember, but the wife actually come out with me one day. So we went and done the normal Sunday boot fair and then went to Lazy Bones. And while we were at the boot fair, we split up. She was looking at her bits, I was looking at mine. I walked across a stall, I walked by a stall, and there was a Gucci purse. Now, I know absolutely nothing about purses, handbags, anything like that. The last handbag that I bought was a fake Michael Kors. And obviously brought it home. She knows the stuff inside and out. So I saw this purse and I was like, well, that could be a good shout. So I tried to phone her. She didn't answer. So I was like, oh, I'll leave it and I'll come back. Obviously, this was about an hour into the boot fair. So I'm like, if it's still there now, then it's probably been sort of seen by everyone. So I walked along, probably walked sort of about 20 yards away from the stall. Tried her phone again, didn't get an answer. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go back, see how much they want for it. By the time I got back, it had gone. And that was in the space of about 2 minutes. So if you think, if instead of me trying to get hold of the wife, I'm then sort of looking on my phone, trying to find this item. And by the time I've got back, if that was a real Gucci, say for example, that was a real Gucci purse and they were selling it for a £5, and I don't know what Gucci purses sell for, but say for example, it sells for £500, then that's a massive amount of profit that you've missed out on just because you weren't going to look it up in front of a seller. Now, what I always tend to do, and it is a bit of a strategy, I will say, is if I'm looking at an item, I will always ask the seller what they want for it before I start looking it up. So, like we'll go back to the controller example. I would always say, what do you want for it? £20. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me just have a quick look. And then I actually say to them, I'll say to them, I'm just having a quick look. And then I'll look it up on eBay. And then I'll see, oh, look, it sells for £25. And I'll be like, I'll tell you what, I'll give it a miss. I looked it up and it only sells for about £25. So there's nothing in it for me. As you've seen in my videos, I'm up front. I will tell people that I'm buying it for resale, and that there's no profit in it for me. I've got no bones about hiding that. At the end of the day, I do it on video. it's out there. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I will admit I don't have an issue with it. I know, as I say, I know this is a really, really, really divisive topic amongst resellers. You've got half of the community that think it is the most rude and arrogant thing you can do in front of a seller, and then you've got the other half which thinks it's perfectly fine that you're informed before making a purchase. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, which side do you sit on? Hate it, love it, or completely in between? As I say, just keep everything civil. I don't any comments that are sort of attacking in any way, I won't allow. I want these discussions to be completely civil. And yeah, it is, for me, it's interesting to hear what all your opinions are. And yeah, everyone's got their own view on this. And yeah, it's a topic that I find really interesting because, yeah, I've had it on previous videos where people have seen, like, the person next to me at a stall is then sort of looking things up, and they're like, oh, that's the worst thing you can do, blah blah blah. And certain points I've been like, yeah, but they're trying to get information on what they're looking to buy. I can agree with it, even though I don't do it. But obviously now I can't say that because I do it, and it is purely because and I'll be honest, I can't afford to be picking up low value items at a boot fair. So even now, even with my current mindset of the boot fair, where I basically look at a minimum profit of 10 to 12 pounds, even that's low, but I like to have sort of a good stream of things coming through the store. But yeah, I will say it's a very contentious topic. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below sort of what side of the fence you sit on. As I say, all I ask is that you just keep it civil. Okay, so moving on, we've got our we're on number 4, aren't we? So our number 4 sale is going to be the Yonex Ace Sabre 71 Lite. This is a graphite badminton racket with cover. So this is actually the second Yonex badminton racket that we've sold in recent weeks. A couple of weeks ago, we sold another one that I'd actually had kicking around for over 2 years. It was actually something I picked up a massive bundle of tennis rackets, or tennis, badminton and squash rackets from one of my local charity shops, and I just didn't have any way to ship them. It was only probably about 6 weeks ago that I actually managed to find someone that was producing like tennis racket shipping boxes. So since then, I've had a couple listed. And actually, this week we actually sold two rackets this week. It was actually our number 11 best sale was another. That was actually a tennis racket, and that netted us a total profit of £10.77. But yeah, this one. This was actually a boot fair pickup. Once again, I can't remember if this video has gone out yet or not. I think it might have done. I want to say it has done, but I can't quite remember. But for this one, we paid £3 for this. Ended up selling for a total price of £44.99 for a total profit of £23.99. And that landed us a ROI of 800%, which was really, really good. So yeah, I am keeping my eye out for things like this now a bit more, because yeah, you don't tend to find. I tend to sort of see a lot of them at the boot fairs, but because I didn't have a way to ship them, I've always sort of steered clear of them. Obviously, now I can ship them. I will look at them a bit more closely. So moving on, our number 3 sale is actually going to be for a Nintendo 64 console. So this is actually something that I've got coming up in a little while. I'm still sort of working on the video, actually over on my gaming channel. So I actually done a couple of really big pickups. So I actually filled the wife's car twice over with gaming consoles. So this was actually in with the first job lot that I picked up. I think this had about 45 consoles in it. So yeah, this was actually the second console sale that we had last week. Our next one is actually going to be yeah, we actually end up with a bit more profit from the next one. So yeah, so this is an N64 console. It's got all the wires. It does have a third-party controller, unfortunately, but it's still sold for £61.50. Landed us a total profit of £25.28. The reason that the profit was so low is the actual the total price was, or total purchase price, worked out at £17.30. Now, the reason for that was the actual console costs about, I think it was just under £12 per console. But with the lot of N64s that I got in this bundle, they didn't have, they were missing the, so with the N64, there is an expansion card, like an expansion card that goes in the front of the console. Without that, the console won't turn on. So yeah, all of the consoles were missing that. And this console as well was missing the cover that goes over that port as well. So I needed to obviously buy the pack that goes in there and the cover. So that's why the cost was so high on that. But even still, it still netted us a total ROI of 146%. So yeah, really, really happy with that. Good to see that these consoles are starting to sell as well. Because yeah, I've got quite a bit of an outlay on them, but nowhere near sort of what a lot of people have expected me to pay on these. So yeah, really, really happy with that. Okay, so moving on to the last comment for today. And this was a video, this was a comment that was left on Saturday's video. This is from Cameron Pierce. Thank you so much for all the work you put into your video, Second Life Treasures. Do you remember what your best ever find was? Yes, I do. Yeah, this one, I must have talked about this on the channel before. Actually, no, I know I've talked about this on the channel before. This is going back, I think it was 2022. So, yeah, it was the beginning part of 2022. So about 2.5 years ago. I come across a Facebook listing for a load of DVDs. And I think this was like, it was about 15 sort of big carrier bags filled with DVDs. And they were basically all free. So I went, picked them up, literally filled the car full of DVDs, and then spent a couple of evenings while I was sort of downstairs watching telly with the family. I would then sort of have my tablet on the table and I'd just scan through all the DVDs to look for anything that was worth selling. And I come across this DVD, and I still to this day cannot remember what the DVD set was called. I'll look through and I'll find a photo of it. I must have a photo of it, or if not, I'll find a photo. And basically what it was it was a TV series that was about a New York dock police officer. And yeah, I pulled one out, looked it up, saw that it was sort of really rare, but I only saw them selling as a complete set. I think there was something like 7 series. So I was like, oh, hopefully the rest are there. And as I'm going through, I then find another one, then another one, and then another one. And I end up with the full set. So I ended up with this full set of DVDs. And if I remember rightly, they sold for, what was it? So it took, I think it took about a month for them to sell. But they ended up selling for about £350. I think it is still to this day, I think, my biggest ever sale. And yeah, that was the one that was just absolutely amazing, because obviously I didn't pay anything for it. And yeah, ended up with such a massive, massive win. I was, even to this day, I'm still buzzing about that sale. And yeah, it just shows that it doesn't matter what you pick up. You can literally, who was it I was talking to? I was talking to one of the other resellers over the weekend, and he was telling me about this guy. I'll be honest, I can't remember the name or anything like that, but he found it was like an etching, and it ended up being, he found it at like a dump or something, and he took it home because he really liked it. And it's been, he picked it up when he was a teenager, and I don't know how old he is now, but yeah, he picked up this etching and he's had it for like ages now, sort of well over a decade, I think it's at least, if not 20 years. And yeah, it's actually turned out that it is a sort of medieval etching, and it's been valued at £20,000. So this is what I mean. You could find your winning ticket at any point. But yeah, so my winning ticket was a bundle of DVDs that I got free from a Facebook pickup. So let's jump into the final 2 sales for today's video. And let me just get the right bit up. There we go. So our number 2 sale was another console. So this come from the same bundle, sorry, as the N64. So this was a Sega Mega Drive, and this was, I believe this was the second variant of Sega Mega Drive that was released. And yeah, it come with all the original AV cable, power cable, controller. And yeah, that sold for £44.75. The reason that you'll see there is it hasn't actually been dispatched yet, because this is actually going to be a local pickup. The buyers messaged me, and they're going to actually pick it up tomorrow night. So the night that this video goes live, I'm going to be meeting up with the buyer, and yeah, they're going to be picking it up. So yeah, really chuffed with that. Obviously it does still have postage on it. Reason for that is I've actually done a deal with the buyer for an extra controller. So yeah, we ended up coming to a deal, and it just meant not refunding the postage. So yeah, initial purchase price of this worked out to be £11.90. As I've said, a total sale price of £44.75, for a total profit of £25.90, which is a total ROI of 218%. So yeah, really happy to start seeing these consoles start shifting now. As I say, I only started listing them towards the tail end of last week. So yeah, I suspect that they'll start flying out the door quite quickly. And then our number 1 sale was the Panasonic DMR EX98V. So this was a DVD recorder and VHS combo. This was actually one that I nearly missed. So this sale is definitely thanks to Nikki. So we were at the last trip, the last proper trip that we did to Swanley Boot Fair. It was an absolutely dire trip. I think, but when I got these, I can't remember if I don't think I'd actually picked anything up yet for the whole trip. And this was a good couple of hours into the boot fair. And initially, I actually walked past these. It was only when Nikki pointed them out to me that I went back and I actually had a look. And I don't even think I looked them up. I just sort of asked the seller, "Oh, what are you after for them?" Because I saw that, I think one was this one, the DVD recorder combi, and then the other one was actually a Freeview HDR, Freeview HDR Blu-ray player. That was it. And yeah, asked the buyer, "What do you want on these two?" He's like, "5 each." And I'm like, "Yeah, go on then, I'll grab them." So paid the tenner for both of them, got it back to the car, and then yeah, I looked it up when I got back to the car, and I nearly hit the deck. So yeah, it was selling without remote for about £160, and I was seeing multiple listings for that as well. But then I saw if you had the remote, it was selling for about £250. So what I did when I got home, obviously got it all set up, got it tested, made sure that it was all working. It was all working absolutely perfectly. So I then jumped on eBay. Managed to get hold of the actual remote for it as well. I think it was about £17.50 or something. £17.48. I paid for the genuine Panasonic remote that went with it. So total investment in this was £22.48. Now this actually sold last week. So this would have been in last week's video, but the buyer didn't pay. So I think it was like Thursday last week. They still hadn't paid, and yeah, I ended up having to raise a buyer not paid report with eBay. So yeah, ended up sort of relisting it, and then a couple of days, what I ended up doing as well is when I relisted it, I brought the price down as well. And yeah, it sold the other day. I think this sold Saturday, 14th, and yeah, it literally sold for the full price I had it up, or did it? No, I think this was an offer. I think I had it up for 160, and then yeah, they offered 144 with 650 shipping. So total total sale price on that was £150 and 50p, for a total profit of £106 and 35p. And that netted us an ROI of 473%. So, yeah, as I say, absolutely monumental score, that one. And as I say, it is the congrats for this one purely go to Nicky because he was the one that found it. And he was the one that pointed it out. So, yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. But yeah, as I said, remember, if you've... I'd really, really like to hear your opinion on the two big subjects that we spoke about today. So that's the eBay authentication program, as well as looking up prices when you're at the boot fair. But yeah, as I say, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.